Here's a question that has been asked for millennia. If God is really there, if he is loving, sovereign, and omnipotent, then why is the world such a mess? Well, the answer is simple. God's plan has always been to work on earth with and through his people, not independently of them. The fact is, God placed the role and responsibility of stewarding this world on his children. To quote John Wesley, God does nothing on the earth save an answer to believing prayer. That is, the Lord limits himself in many ways to the actions, decisions, and requests of his appointed stewards. As we are told in Psalms 115, verse 16, the highest heavens belong to the Lord, but the earth he has given to mankind. God involves himself in the affairs of our world through his people. All of the Lord's plans and purposes will be ultimately realized, but delays occur at times because he waits until he can find people through whom to work, people who will accept responsibility, pray, act, and intercede on behalf of others. The most impactful revivals and moves of God the last 2,000 years were ignited through the prayers and actions of the smallest bands of individuals who have hearts to step into the gap. Unfortunately, ignorance, self-interest, and bad theology within Christendom has contributed to things going off the rails in our world. While many men and religious organizations falsely projected authority to take the reins of managing people's interaction with the Lord, they rarely taught believers how to take responsibility or step into their proper roles to manage and govern the earth. When people don't step up, waiting for the will of God to be fulfilled can take years, decades, even multiple generations. It may be a long time from our perspective, but the Almighty exists outside of time, and these periods aren't even the blink of an eye to him. Still, there are temporal consequences when people fail to operate in the role that God ordained. While many were saved from God's wrath and destruction through Moses' intercession, the generation of Israelites that came out of Egyptian slavery missed its destiny by failing to trust the Lord and refusing to step into the land that he promised them. God waited and fulfilled his plans through the next generation. Jesus said Jerusalem in its day missed its time of visitation. How many times did God save, bless, rescue, or redeem his people just because one man or woman stepped into the role of intercession on behalf of others? I can think of Abraham, Joseph, Gideon, Deborah, Esther, Dorcas, just to name a few. Intercession for others is the theme of the scripture time and again. And it is the very reason he has called his people to be a nation of priests. We aren't merely to be priests acting on behalf of each other. We are priests called to intercede for people of the world who do not know the Lord yet. Where would the world be if even a minority of Christ's people, his followers, were actively interceding for the world? Well, change is coming, but not the way that many think. Stay tuned.